right, live from the wasteland outside of Survival Pod. It's Freedom Phil, and what's the topic? You know, if the Democrats don't seize upon the opportunity, then the Republicans will. And believe you me, it's better to look like you're trying to destroy the fraud than hiding from it. Where am I going with this? This is Freedom Phil, like, subscribe, and hey, always turn up the video speed. And why do I say that? Because if I choose to upload this, listen to it at 1.75. And as always, I swear, I cuss, I say all sorts of nasty things, and if your kid regurgitates something I'd say, that's your fault for not knowing what your kids are watching. Quit being a shitty parent. And when it comes to a lot of my subscribers, no offense, 95% of you are probably robots or retards, and I will happily point that out. I've got a handful of people that know how to have a conversation, but as for the rest, I have no part. For you, it's like a pinball game with it. It's like, there's another retard. Boom. Oh, looks like the ball went the wrong way. Let's get into it. I've listened to this guy, this Kennedy guy. Not the one that Trump appointed, but some other Kennedy. Imagine there's a few of them. And he's talking about tackling the fraud in Minnesota. Now, I don't know if this Kennedy guy is conservative or Democrat, but if you were a Democrat, is it better to basically sit there and run and hide and put your, fingers in your ears and be like, nope, we don't see any fraud? And there's clear fraud. There's clear fraud all over the place. And the programs that were designed to help the poor, the working poor in America, or just, let's be honest, the welfare trash of America, well, they're being exploited. And everybody knows they're being exploited. And so whether you want to do it or not, you can either try to hide from it, or the Democrats can get on top of this and actually start, prosecuting the fraud. Now, the problem is there's probably going to be some whistleblowers that say, hey, we were kicking money back to such and such candidates. And that's where the grand, glorious purge needs to happen in the party. People have to fall on some swords. I'm just being honest. Because it's better that you do that than you basically let your opponent, being the Republicans or just anybody who's sane, take up the mantle. Because believe you me, it won't be you falling on your sword. It'll be you getting fucking crucified when it comes to the politics if the Republicans decide, this isn't a matter of welfare reform, by the way. This is a matter of revealing fraud. Like, people hear the term welfare reform and they think, oh, that's going to be, I'm not going to get as much food stamps. Hey, look, somebody that's like some Somali that's been scamming your welfare system for how many millions and then eventually billions of dollars. And it's not just the Somalis. There's Americans doing it, but foreigners particularly can be benefiting from this, because here's the sick, sad truth. If you're an American, you maybe have something else set up in some other country. Hopefully you're smart enough to do that. But these foreigners, they already got something set up in some other country. It's called their home country. In fact, if anything, the money they're scamming out of your country, they're sending it back over there, and they're building a small empire for themselves on the backs of the American taxpayer. Now, don't just think this is America. It's obviously most of Europe and anywhere anybody could get away with it. Now, do you want to be the party that sits there and puts your fingers in your ears and like, no, there's no fraud, and then more and more fraud comes out, and people will get pissed. If you think it's a guaranteed vote, that people won't, the pissed off anger vote. You want to explain something to a lot of people who don't understand the Trump mentality. Trump didn't get elected because he was the most principled conservative that we had ever seen. We saw a lot of so-called principled conservatives. Trump got elected because he was a giant middle finger to the conservative party. After all the years and all the grandstanding and all the BS, along comes a guy who just, to some degree, told it like it is. Like when Hillary Clinton called him out and said, well, you benefit from these tax bill codes. He's like, yeah, because I'm smart, and I know that you benefit from them too. Like he fucking just 180'd that on fucking Hillary. People were just refreshed to hear someone tell the truth that everybody knows. And so what you could see if the Democrats don't seize upon this opportunity to eliminate fraud in welfare programs, like whether it's the fake child care, the fake feeding the people scams, the fake health care scam, whatever fake fucking scam there is, if they don't seize upon this, you can bet even the lamest conservatives will. And here's what the conservatives will do. They'll wait until it looks like it's about to be the time for the next major election, midterms, And it'll be Doge 2.0, and they'll start revealing all this fraud, just like the people that were government workers. I know you guys don't want to hear this, but like, hey man, how many government workers, when the thing said, you got to show up, or at least reply to this email, how many people, basically they were just collecting a check, or some scam artist somewhere in the other part of the world was collecting a fucking check. And once they had that most basic standard of, yeah, you need to walk into the office. I wonder how many jobs just magically disappeared because there was no one ever doing a damn thing to begin with. Whether it was massively effective or not for the government, the people like that. Because nobody's thrilled about paying taxes. And most people, if we're being honest, most of you don't pay taxes when we really run the numbers. I mean, most of you, at the end of the day, you receive more benefits from the system, even as working class people, than you ever fucking pay in. I mean, go take a look at the real cost for public school and then look up how much the average person gets back at Social Security. Those things alone. And then be like, well, what about all the federal I pay? Truth is, do you not drive on the roads? Do you not benefit from the fuckos being put in prison? Do you not benefit from the military keeping other countries from getting a little too ambitious? Now, most people don't pay taxes, but the grand illusion that you do pay taxes, it doesn't matter what's real. It matters what people perceive. And this, by the way, is also why the court systems are complete bullshit. People are like, what do you mean the court system's complete bullshit? It's more about how people feel in a court case than facts sometimes. I mean, sometimes the facts are so overwhelming that your feelings don't matter. But a lot of times it's just how people fucking feel. Now, take that back to the welfare fraud situation. Democrats, which side of this do you want to be on? Do you want to be on the side that everybody looks around and goes and says, well, apparently you want to hide this, or do you want to be the person that's revealing the fraud? You can either have a handful of Democrats that really did this fall on their sword, and some of them, let's be honest, like Ilhan Omar, fuck. Obviously, that bitch is corrupt as hell. You start having a few of these fraudsters fall on their sword and have a new party. Bring it back to the John F. Kennedy party. Where basically they're like, hey, we're for the working man. We're for affordable housing. That's another thing that the Democrats really need to take on. And the Republicans won't do it either. They're both fucking cowards. It's, why are these banks charging this much interest for everything? I mean, like the Fed's another good example of them ripping you off. Well, we can't attack the Fed. Bullshit. Bull fucking shit. If you're a person and you got really good credit and you're buying a house to live in, not a house as an investment, you're not a dude bro investor, why the holy high hell does the interest rate have to be so high, like 6 to 7% on a 30-year? I mean, if you knock that down to 2%, guess what? On $500,000, 6% on the first year is like would literally be 30 grand. So if it's only 2%, you could basically have it paying, you'd save $20,000. Would that not make your life better? These are the type of issues that a lot of these politicians really should be taking on. They should be questioning this. Because at the end of the day, these banks exist, and I know this is a fucking pipe dream, but these banks exist under a simple reality that they exist in our country. Our country. Sure, they could take their money and go anywhere they want, but they fucking need our money. They need our work, and they need our profits. So what am I getting at with this? You need candidates for the Democrat Party that will address these simple issues. And if you don't start producing them, well, guess what? You're going to see a party that basically comes along in the Republicans that will. And it won't have to be all the issues. But if a few issues get addressed, I'll tell you, that will destroy the Democrats. Do you want to see, okay, let's be honest. Do you want to see another Supreme Court member be conservative? I know a lot of you conservatives would love to see that. I personally don't see a problem with it. I mean, I'm a laid-back libertarian. But if I had to be honest about society, if I go back to the late 80s and the 90s, and even some of the early 2000s, America was a better fucking place. It was a way better place. And since, I'd say, 2005, let's say the Obama era, was the beginning of a lot of fucking garbage. I'd say George Baby Bush and his 2 fucking wars. Maybe let's say that was really the beginning of the downfall. 20 years of bullshit war, replacing the Taliban with the Taliban. And it's the casualness that we got. We were so used to being butt fucked with corruption that effectively we don't even question it. But it's one of those gigs where, and by the way, hey, if you got something to say, why aren't you saying it in the chat? Oh, that's too bad, isn't it? But the reality of it is, from my perspective, the Democrats can either get on the forefront with this, or they're going to be crushed by the weight of it. And you know what? Honestly, after all the shit that they put the American public through, they kind of deserve it. All the let's trans your kids, let's do this, let's control you with words. You can't say that. Fuck my God, the shit people have put up with. And it's sad because, do you remember back in the 90s, the Democrats were the fun party? They were the fun party. And then they became even honestly worse than the religious right. Because maybe I should really be real about this. The real religious right happened before I was born. It did. But by the time we got to the late 80s and all the children, that meme from the Simpsons. And then by the mid to late 90s, they were pretty much dealt with. And there was just a few hang-ups that, I think it's funny when the Amazing Atheist will say something like, oh, well, we defeated the religious right. No, you didn't. You defeated some losers on the fucking internet. But yeah, it was a pretty good world back then. And as annoying as the religious right was, I could say the authoritarian left was way worse. We were able to make a joke back in the day. And so I don't know. If the Democrats want to have an easy win, start tackling this corruption. But it means somebody's going to have to fall on their sword. That's just all there is to it. And, if they don't want to do that, okay, enjoy when the Republicans do it. Because if you won't, they eventually will. Because even the dimmest fucking Republicans can figure out, wait a minute, the American people really don't like being ripped off. They don't like paying taxes to begin with, and they certainly don't like the idea that a bunch of money got funneled to some other fucking country. If they're pissed off about giving billions of dollars in foreign aid for bullshit, do you think they're going to be happy about their welfare system being scammed? And let me tell you something. There's a lot of people in this country that are on welfare. They might be Democrats, but they could be pissed off Democrats that'll vote against you. Just like with the Trump voters, they didn't vote for Trump because they thought he was the greatest person ever. They thought he was the most principled conservative. It was literally a middle finger to the old party. Don't think the Democrat voters are above that. Anyways, that's my thoughts. Freedom Phil, like, subscribe. And I always love when I set up the parameters on this because it just shuts up all the stupid idiots. Like I said, and for the people you need to treat your viewers better. There are intelligent people who comment. There are mostly robots and retards that constantly spam shit. I don't care how I treat them. I view them the same way a paper shredder views junk mail. And they are there to potentially, at best, be fire, kindling for my channel. But as for the people that are intelligent enough to have something enlightened to say, I'm more than happy to hear you. But if you're not going to put anything in there that's worth me reading, and by the way, once I put the filters on, it gets rid of all the robots and retards. Oh, I fucking love it. But yeah, prove you're human before you expect me to treat you with respect. All right, Freedom Phil, like, subscribe, take it easy.